Bell Time by Sophie Tuvey. Chapter 9. When I enter the photocopying room first thing the next morning, the larger machine is just finishing a job. I pick up the booklet and examine it. Year 9 Persuasive Writing. Michael. I set my handouts copying and flick through it. Some extracts, some technique practice, some planning sheets. It looks thorough, if not very easy on the eye. That man loves Times New Roman way too much. My handouts finish and I pick them up. I should really take these booklets to Michael's room. Plus, it gives me the opportunity to tell him, more officially, that I am applying for the job. I'm surprised when I get there to see his empty chair. There's a pile of books on his desk that he's obviously midway through marking. I find a space to set the booklets down, but then something catches my eye. It's the HOD application form, printed off with notes scribbled over it. The handwriting is very familiar to me. It's Jeff's. It's like a knife twisting in my gut, even though I haven't told Jeff I'm applying. I haven't really told anyone, except to shout something vague to Michael yesterday over my shoulder. But it hurts, because clearly he hasn't considered me for this role. He hasn't sought me out, encouraging me to apply. Michael's asked for his feedback, and he's happy to give it, probably glad to know he can hand over his department to someone competent and efficient. Someone who's not like me. There are voices in the corridor and I'm frozen like a bank robber caught red-handed as Michael and Jeff walk into the room. Those eyes of steel assess me in a penetrating glance. Guilty. Jennifer? His tone moves up at the end like an unspoken question. What are you doing in my room? I came to give you these booklets, I say, the fiery blush spreading like a rash over my face and neck. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you. I walk hastily towards the door, avoiding eye contact with either of them. Jeff steps back so I can get past. See you later, I call eerily as I head for the sanctuary of my room. Ugh, how embarrassing. It takes 5 minutes before Michael comes bursting into my classroom. I look up from my laptop. Can I help you? Jennifer. He says my name slowly, like the first part of a joke before the punchline. There are a few things, actually. He moves towards my desk, and my hands fall from being poised over the keyboard. I have to crick my neck back as he draws closer until I'm leaning back in my chair. He places his hands deliberately onto my desk and looms forward, locking eyes with me. His eyes are the colour of thunder. Were you serious yesterday when you said you were going to apply for the HOD role? I blink. This is my opportunity. Be clear, be calm. Perfectly serious, I reply crisply. I hold my nerve and refuse to look away. I watch a shadow of something, surprise, pass through his expression before he gives me a cynical smile. Lovely, he says. So I'm sure you'll want to have some input into redoing the corridor display boards. I think we can both agree that they are looking a little tired. As much as it pains me to agree with you, I will concede the point. I've been told that you're the best person to come to for resources in this area. What he means is that he's asked Jeff, and Jeff has sent him my way. I push back from my desk and walk over to a plastic box with the lid shut in the corner of my room. Before I can lift it, he's there and lifting it for me. He sets it down onto the desk, and we stand over it as though it's a Christmas present and we're kids again. I open the lid and reveal my store of tools. Staple gun, staples, staple remover. I pick each item up to show him. Each one has my name written 20 times all over it. Nothing lasts 5 minutes round here. Laminate pouches. The laminator is in the staff room. The rolls of paper are in the store cupboard. I look up and he's rubbing his hands with glee like Gollum. Now listen. I use my best teacher voice. Assertive but not aggressive. These are all my personal items which I keep in school for my personal use. I don't want anything left out where someone can swipe it. Everything has to be returned to the box and the lid replaced. Do you understand? I understand that you clearly have trust issues. Michael rolls his eyes. You've even managed to write your initials inside the trigger of the staple gun. Maybe it's best if you only use this when I'm around. You know, I really think this is a 2-person job anyway. How about after school? Seriously? I have a job application to write, or at least redraft. But the image of my flat and reheated macaroni cheese isn't something I want to rush home to. There was that weird moment when he was leaning towards me in the doorway. Perhaps part of me wants to find out what that was all about. Maybe, I say, shutting the box lid with a decisive click. He raises an eyebrow. I'll take that as a yes, he says. Now another thing. Here it comes. He's going to accuse me of spying in his room. I have hidden a small ornament somewhere in your classroom. When you find it, let me know. Wait, what? I say, and watch him try to suppress a smile as he turns to leave. What kind of ornament? It's a cat. I know I should be more organised. It's been my New Year's resolution for about 7 years now, but I still feel like things just catch me out all the time. Birthdays, favours I agreed to in a moment of folly, household bills. In school, I live a fairly hand-to-mouth existence with my planning and preparation, and it's tough to find any time to focus when emails keep pinging into my inbox, the phone rings with a message, or a student is hovering in the corridor when they should be in a lesson. The fact is, no sooner than you catch up with your tasks, then something new is happening and you're already behind again. I don't have time to check my email in my first lessons of the day. When I head into the staff room, everyone is standing in silence while David is giving an all-staff briefing. Must have missed the email about that. He gives me a pointed look of disapproval while I attempt to fade into the background. I want everyone to use the new behaviour policy, he says. If any student breaks a rule, give them a warning, then if they continue, issue one of the consequences. It could be detention, seeing you at the end of the lesson, or in serious cases, sending them to their head of year. We need consistency. Roger that. Once David's gone, I retreat to the kitchen in relief. There's barely any break time left, but I have a blank lesson for planning after break, so I can take my time to make a cup of tea, then tackle those emails. I'm just stirring my mug when Michael stands in the doorway. Did you check cover? He asks. No, I say. You're down to cover for Matt's sports group. What? You'll have to take them to a computer room. Which class? I look at Michael and I already know the answer. It's the boys' group. I groan and abandon my tea. Flustered and turning over in my mind what I'm going to do with the boys' group for a substitute PE lesson in a computer room, I arrive at the outdoor entrance to the gym changing rooms to find the boys, with their kit bags, passing a basketball around. Sorry boys, we need to go to a computer room as Mr. Myers isn't here today. There's a lot of grumbling and I hear Tyler say disdainfully, I don't know why they've sent her. I'm ignoring that one. Once we've arrived at the classroom and the students have all logged on to computers, I suggest that they research different types of cardio exercise while I open my email, hoping to find some cover work for them to do. Thankfully, Matt has sent over some instructions. Okay everyone, Mr. Myers wants you to continue working on your write-up of a circuits fitness session. I walk around and check that they're all on task. I catch Tyler on a gaming website. That's a warning now, Tyler, I say. Stay focused. I look through my emails and catch up on the messages about staff briefing and another one from Natalie to say that some staff are being used for cover as a supply teacher was ill, so that explains why I was on the list unexpectedly. The boys are easier to cope with while they're glued to screens, but then I hear the hiss of a can opening. No drinks in here, and you're not allowed these in school anyway, I say, taking the can of Coke and placing it on top of a cupboard. I'm thirsty, Tyler complains. Drinking 12 teaspoons of sugar probably won't help. So pathetic, he mutters, turning back to the screen. You're already on a warning, I remind him. I think you'd better see me at lunchtime. I can't, he snaps. I'm supposed to be with Mr. Chase. That's fine. I'll speak to you in his classroom then. I can't wait. Cut the attitude, Tyler. I return to my emails, thinking through what my options are if he continues acting up. His head of year is Matt, who's not here, so I can't send him there. Next door is Roger, but there would be no use sending him to work in there. He would probably just play online games the whole time. I guess I would have to ring the office and see if anyone else was available on the senior team. Everything okay in here, Miss Baker? David walks in, using a rather forced politeness that he never bothers with when it's just me in the corridor. His eyes flick round the room, and he sees Tyler's screen the same time as I do. Tyler, close that down, he barks. Is everyone behaving? He directs the question at me, like it's some sort of test of my competence. Actually, Tyler has been through a warning and received a detention, I tell him, nodding towards the can of Coke on the side. I know Mr. Myers isn't here, but I think we might need to escalate this if he continues to disregard the rules. Get your bag, Tyler, David commands with a frown. I'll take you to work somewhere else. David looks annoyed at the inconvenience, but at least it means that Tyler will start to realise there are consequences for his actions. But when I find him in Michael's room at lunchtime, he doesn't seem very apologetic. Do you mind if I speak to Tyler for a minute? I ask. Then I take a seat from the desk in front of Tyler. Tyler, do you understand why I gave you a detention? He gives a tiny nod of his chin, not looking up. What do you think you could do differently next time? He shrugs. Tyler, could you look at me, please? His eyes move, but his head stays low on his chest. Sit up, please. I want to have a proper conversation with you. He straightens his shoulders a little. I'd really like you to reconsider your attitude, I say. I find your behaviour disrespectful. He rolls his eyes. Tyler, Michael says sharply, apologise to Miss Baker. Sorry, he says, without looking at me, in a monotone. I really don't want to have this conversation again. I push back the chair. Nor do I, Tyler says under his breath.